Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Lather Talk podcast. This episode, we're bringing you an interview with Mary and Chris Troniak of Highland Spring Soap Company, based up in Cranbrook, British Columbia in Canada. We'll talk about some of the challenges that they've faced since starting their artisan soap and skincare journey, soap-based formulations, fragrance, and what we can expect to see in the future. Now, onto the episode.
Breaking into the whole wet shaving genre, we started out as just a farmer's market type setup, where we were selling hand soap and some, skincare products. The shaving soap was something that just sort of evolved. There was never really a business plan for that per se. It was like, geez, hon, can you make me some shave soap that I can use? And that's what I use, right? So we thought, well, being very new to it, I mean, I had no idea there was the community out there that there is. And so we started making some soap. And then, we had a website. It was selling fairly well at the farmers markets. So we thought, well, you know what? Let's try and go online and see what happens. So it's very much just grown from there. But very, very steep learning curve, as we got into it and found a few Facebook groups, things of that nature, and started to watch some of the social media. It was very obvious that, I had no idea what was out there, the amount, the quality, what people were after in general was and is still a big learning curve for us, in terms of scent and presentation, packaging, all the stuff that goes with it, right?
Yes. As I don't know if you know, but if you know, I am a chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
That is my profession. When I was teenager, no more, but when I was teenager, I went to the college. I am from Cuba, and I went to the college there for chemistry. And there I just work in lab science for a while, and that is what I really like. I like all the chemistry, how I can make own products. I made all the products for scratch. That is really what I like, to decide what I want to put in the products, make my own recipe. People think, for example, when you make a recipe is put there, and no, is when you make the recipe is all recipes start for 100%, and you need device for every ingredients, and to me is what I love to do.
Basically, I'm the tester
Yes.
for a lot of product. And you give her feedback, and I'm learning as I go with it too from Mary, but it's very much she's.
Yes, but you help a lot. He help a lot with all. When we start, we have packing problem. Then people expect one thing, and we are farmer market. People in the farmer market, they want more natural products, more that kind of products. In the wet shaving community, I found that they buy for the eyes. They see how it looks, the presentation of the product, and that is fine. That is good because that is life. And we learned that with one wet shaver. He said, your product is beautiful. I love it. But can you change the label for one and see how that works? And that was, oh my God, big jump.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in our area, we're in a fairly small area, guys. And it's very much a rural type community. So, the farmer's market is here so what Mary's getting at is, they don't even like to see something in a plastic wrapper or, everything very plain in presentation, brown paper if possible. And, so this was our audience, right? And then moving out onto the internet was a whole different experience. And of course, the expectation being more upscale and more professional, if you will. So yeah, that was a big learning curve.
It was wonderful because I really, really love how it looks all our products, the kidney blue and the label, Havana Vieja, and I love it because it is to represent my country, and the tobacco is nice.
The labels are great because I think they're very scenic, and it matches Kootenai Blue and Havana. And Gerard's holding it right now for
It's there.
for the
It's
listeners at
there.
home. Yeah, it's just great because I think you're looking at it, you're getting ready for your shave, and already there's a great mental picture to kind of get you in the right mindset of what you're about to experience.
Right, and I think you're right. It just adds to the overall presentation. Some of the challenges around being a small maker are just that, though. You go out and you're trying to source packaging, labeling. And a lot of the expectations from these printers and or packaging suppliers is that you're willing to buy 10,000 pieces of something, and of course you're out of luck if you don't. So your selection's limited for your budget. Your needs aren't being met. I mean, that is improving, I think, in general, where we're finding some suppliers that are willing to deal smaller numbers. I mean, the price obviously comes in with that. They charge more, but it gives us a little more flexibility anyway. And I think we're getting more comfortable with that and able to source what we think looks better. Definitely been a change for sure. And the small bit stuff is generally kind of not what you're looking for. Very not an upscale look at all. So yeah, that's been sourcing a lot of that's been tough, but I think we're on track now. So that's been a good step forward for sure.
Do you design your own labels and packaging?
Yes, believe it or not, and I'm no I'm no computer guy when it comes to illustrations or anything. So those are just basically some stock images that we've found and used. I do have a printer that does them, so he'll make some adjustments to them as we see fit. But I do the rough draft on them and then kind of the placement of them, and then we go from there. So
Very nice.
That we have an upcoming release probably later in the spring here that we've had another artisan design a label for us. So that one will be interesting. It's a first for us to have used somebody else's skill set for that. So
As far as the scent and everything, that's all going to be you. It's just simply the label that you're.
Yeah, that's right. I've done that scent, and it's been quite a long time. It's sort of a fougere type, but typically it takes me quite a while. I mean, we're not perfumers. I mean, it's something we work with and try to do our best with it. And we're buying sort of stuff off the shelf and mixing it up and trying to make something of your own. So that's a huge learning, and to be honest, quite frustrating at times. It's a lot of tries and a lot of fails too, right? And then you get the odd one that comes out okay. Hopefully this one, I think, is maybe somewhat polarizing in the sense that not everybody's a fougere fan, but I think this one is pretty tame, and it's a likable, wearable, everyday kind of scent. That's generally what we try to do. There's nothing too exotic, but having said that, we've had a bit of a departure with that with the Eclipse release with Australian Private Reserve, as you know. So that was the first time we've done that in terms of having someone do that for us.
Yeah, actually, I would love to hear, Chris, how did that collaboration happen? How did you connect with Dan from APR?
So that looked a lot like just reaching out to some people on Instagram and saying, we reached out to a few perfumers one-on-one, never really got much of a response. So it seemed like it was maybe something that was hard to make a connection on. So we started asking around, just one-on-one with some of our followers and people we talk to regularly. And Dan's name came up repeatedly. So I thought, well, maybe it's worth a shot. We'll see what this. He seems like he's got a popular product and such. So yeah, we just contacted him and it went from there. It was really a simple process. again, new to us. I mean, I think some are more complicated than others, depending who you deal with and what the rights are to what, you know, the scent and the name and so on. So Dan was very accommodating that way. It was just sort of a, you know what, when you guys are done paying me, this is yours to do with whatever you like, and you name it, you can keep the scent. It's yours. So that fit. We were just looking for a real dark cologne type scent, you know, something that I've struggled with making myself, and finally just sort of put it on the back burner for now, you know, and I thought, well, here's the time to try to put something like that out.
Now that, correct me if I'm wrong, that was your first release in the tallow base. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, so previous, like, you know, Kootenai Blue, Lavani Vieja, a lot of the other scents were all in a vegan or vegetal base.
Yes.
And any particular reason on going tallow, or you can kind of expand on and things like that?
As you know, we render our tallow.
Mm-hmm.
We buy our tallow, we buy for a farmer, then and we render. Is a big process. Stay time, you know, but I'm really happy with the result of the soap, because when I made the recipe, I buy some tallow for one company that sells tallow, and I don't like how was the result of the soap. Was greasy. Our son and Chris, they use, and they don't like how feel after. And to me, I know what is tallow, and that tallow that I bought looks more large.
Mm.
It was no hard. Tallow is very, very hard. And that one was some kind of lard and was not what I want. And I said, no, I need to render the tallow. And after then I rendered the tallow and made the recipe and all working on, is Christopher said, oh no, this is what we wanted. We don't want that tallow. And now we start to buy more tallow and render more we can have more in the freezer.
Yeah,
I think the departure there was just strictly an experiment, you know. I mean, you have your crowd that really swears by the tallow, and others, you know, obviously like the vegan style. So it was a learning curve, you know. Number one, can we do it? You know, let's see if we're, you know, you're testing your skills out a bit, I guess, there, and saying, well, let's start from scratch and build our own formula right from rendering the fat right up through. So yeah, that took us quite a while, to be honest. But yeah, so there was the challenge of it. Then there's the, you know, the opinions and the likes and dislikes of the folks that are buying too, right? So, you know, we've heard numbers from certain suppliers where, you know, say tallow will outsell vegan 5 to 1 or 7 to 1 or 3 to 1 or whatever it is. And I said, okay, fine, let's test the waters and see what's out there, really. I mean, for me personally, I don't find in the performance a huge difference in at least our vegan base and our tallow. I mean, I enjoy them both. I think they both have their own sort of unique characteristics, but you know, for me to say that I think that our tallow outperforms our vegan, I'm not sure that's a thing, you know, for me. But there are a lot of folks that prefer it. So I guess it gives us the flexibility to market to both crowds, you know.
For the record, I think they're both excellent. You know, I shaved with Eclipse, and I was actually very surprised at how easy Eclipse is to just develop and lather. You know, like I think some people are, you know, a lot of shavers are finicky depending on their the type of water that they have, or just maybe how much they load onto their brush and things like that. But for me, I was just like, this is just really, really like nice and easy to use.
Hear that,
Thank
you know.
you.
Yeah, because we strive for that in both bases, that it's not something that, you know, I'm kind of a no fuss sort of guy. So when I go into, it's not that I don't enjoy building a lather or doing any of that, but I certainly don't want something that's let's say, challenging to use. I mean, I think you should be able to pick this up and use it, no matter who you are. Level of experience, the brush you use in the water. We're fortunate enough that we test here with some fairly hard water. So, I have a confidence level when it's going out that unless it's something highly unusual, it's probably going to be fine. It's
really quick, because I should have probably done my research a little bit more. Are you guys located in British Columbia or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I knew that I looked up that Kootenay, is over there in the eastern end of the province.
That's
so
right. So they have the east and the west Kootenays. We're on the eastern border of the mountain range, so they consider us the East Kootenays, right? So that's where we are.
You guys, what kind you like more? You want more the vegan for yourself, vegan or tallow?
John, you want to take this or?
Well, Mary, that's a conversation and a debate that we have had, with other guests before. And me and Gerard, actually, I think we're very much on the same page in that a soap, whether it's vegan or tallow, right? Neither of us discriminate against it. If it performs, it performs. Sure, everyone has their preferences, but we've come across some truly excellent ones. I actually, when I first tried, JB sent me samples of your soap, and that's the first time I ever tried it. And I was just very, very happy with it. I think around then a few reviews came out. I think Red Shaves had done an early review at that point too. So, I definitely count it amongst, some of the best vegan or vegetable-based soaps out there. I wonder if it's just a matter of getting over some of the early vegan vegetable soaps and that had, I don't know, maybe they're more drying or harder to work with. Maybe we had to get over that perception.
I think I agree, and that just comes from a bit of research on my part and hearing comments. I don't think I can say that we were really part of the community when some of those earlier releases were out, but I've heard that before. And when I look at the soaps mentioned, some, not all, maybe looking at the ingredients, were very good from a skincare perspective, but maybe not so much from a lathering perspective. So I think there's probably some truth to that. I've not had a chance to try some of those, but in our own experimentation, we've always, strive for the good skincare aspect of post shave is very important to me. I have really sensitive skin, so for me, if I can get away with not using any aftershaves and things of that nature after a shave, I'm better off. But I guess in having done some research into that, you start to learn, and you're blending some of these butters and stuff to give you that, and that can kill your soap. Really, as far as from a lather perspective, ease of lathering. So yeah, it's a learning process for sure. Like, your intentions are good to start out, you're going to build this really luxurious soap that doesn't work. So it's getting back to what Gerard was saying, focusing back towards that balance. Okay, it's got to lather easy, it's got to give you a good lather. I mean, there's a lot to it, to be honest, and you're always kind of sacrificing something for the other as you're changing this. And in the end, you hope to have a good balance of it all.
Yeah, to kind of maybe chime in on John's comment, I'm very much the same way, that good soap is good soap. It doesn't matter whether it is vegan or tallow. Even if I happen to pick up a new soap from a new company that I'm not quite familiar with, I experiment with how much I load, how much water I'm using, because you can get, when some people will say, oh, tallow performs better than vegan, well, you can under hydrate a tallow soap and get a lesser, a pretty bad lather, as opposed to properly hydrating, say, a vegan soap, and you would just have a better experience, that way too. So, I think for the most part, good soap is good soap. I think we're in and I may have mentioned this in a previous episode of ours, like that I think we're kind of in a time where people are just putting out excellent products all around. We don't, as a consumer, there's not a lot, we can really complain about. Like, if any complaints, it's just like nitpicking at this point on performance. So, that's just me. But yeah, I mean, we're very much, I think, a little bit spoiled nowadays as far as products just compared to, say, 5 years ago.
Well, there's definitely just a huge market there, and to be honest, I'm not a guy that's going to tell you I've tried every soap out there, but I mean, of all the names you hear regularly, and the ones I have tried, I mean, they're all just fantastic. You're right. It's really hard to say that, oh, here's a bad one, but like you say, is giving it some time and working with the product too. I find that when using a new soap, and even a change in a brush, going from my synthetic, say, to a Badger, or, I got to readjust again. And, I typically like to just play with them till I break the lather. And then, I learn that sort of breaking point and go from there, because you can get it to these soaps to where they're just, most of them do take a lot of water, I find, and you can get them right up so they're just super slick and beautiful, but then you're starting to lose some cushion. And so in order to understand all that and properly rate the soap, I think you're going to have to spend some time with it. Just one or two shaves, I guess it's okay for someone to rate something out that quickly, but those are the things we face as a maker. People get it in their hands and they may not be happy with the first shave, and it's like, and they're not afraid to say it. But I think that's for us where the ease of lathering, trying to build that into the product, because hopefully you don't get that bad experience with.
And lather is too with brushes. When I lather for my shave, if I use a Bayer brush or synthetic brush, is different. I found that the Bayer go in the soap and the synthetic is out. I don't know if everybody has the same thing.
Mary, what's your preference as far as what kind of knot you use?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends, because to me, for Bayer, I like more if I want to more exfoliation, and if I want more smooth, I want synthetic.
Okay. Chris, do you have a preference as far as brush type?
No, I'm opening up more and more to it all the time, and I used to do just strictly the face lathering, and I've changed that up. And with that, I think the appreciation for the other brushes comes in, and to be honest, it's just sort of for whatever mood I'm in now, but I enjoy them all. And the synthetics I've really, really come to like. The few that I do have, I'm not a real big brush collector, but the ones I do have work so well. And when I'm in a hurry going to work or doing something, they just work really fast and well. There's no finicky fooling around, it just happens. So it's, I like them all, but I'm partial to Badger. I like the look. I like the feel. I like, so I guess out of all those, I have the most Badger brushes of anything, but I do have some boar and synthetic, so. But,
and the increase in the farmer market too. You see those people. I am the only in this area that may shave soap, and people, when they come to the table and they want to talk about the shaving, and say, "Oh my God, it's so good! Welcome to the wet shaving community."
Yeah.
Yes, it's exciting,
But I guess, from a utilitarian sort of view, these guys that are used to doing this in the shower with a lady Bic or whatever the heck they're using there, I mean, it's a hard sell because they see the price and it's like, oh, why would I do that? Say, well, give it a try, you might find out. But yeah, so they're looking at, well, I'm not spending $25 on a soap when I'm just do this, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, and some people say that $25 in a soap, but oh my God, the soap you can have one soap for more than 6 months, depending how you shave, and it's long time.
Yeah, we like to think there's some value there, but to people that aren't
to
wanting
say,
it, I guess.
I really like when he shaving, because it can have its own time and relax, and because life is so short and you need to enjoy and relax. And to me, make the lather and shaving, that is relax.
I agree. It could be meditative if you want it to be, or
Yeah.
at least you slow down your day, right? Whether you shave at night, shave in the morning, you have a little bit of me time. So I mean that was definitely an appeal for me getting into it. I had a question about before we leave the topic of the before vegan versus tallow. So, Mary and Chris, going forward, then are you offering, like, if there's a new scent that comes out in one base, is it like always going to be in the vegan base, or if the scent comes out in tallow, it'll permanently stay that way?
Well, that's a good question, and we've been asked that several times since the discussion has come up and since the switch. Well, I won't even call it a switch because we are still doing both. I think the next couple you're going to see are going to be tallow, just as so we can kind of bring that line up to speed. But we are already getting asked for sure. Well, hey, are you doing Havana in a tallow? We want it in tallow. So I think, if it comes to that, you may see us just sort of migrate over to tallow if there's not much demand for the vegan anymore. I think there's going to be a trial period here, though, where we watch sales and just see, what those results look like. And it's not that we would never build.
We can make both because I enjoy the vegan too. We can make both.
I'm not saying we're not.
We can make, for example,
anything.
People ask for Habana Vieja in tallow. Lots of people, can you make Habana Vieja in tallow? And I say to Chris, okay, we can wait for our new release. We work it in one scent and it's beautiful and I love it. And we'll be in tallow and I am so excited for that. I think that will be for the end of March. I hope so. We see how the guy for label working.
That'd be me. So,
but the new release will be in tallow, and it depends of demand. Some people ask, "Oh, can you make some existing soap in tallow?" We can make too.
Yeah, we do that. We have customers, they'll ask and say, "Geez, could you make us an unscented soap?" Or and we'll do that one-on-one with people if that's what they like. If they have some allergy issues or things of that nature, we have no trouble filling those types of orders. So there'll always be, whatever you want, I guess, available. It's not going to be, I don't think you'll see where we're selling the one, but I think for a while I want to play with the tallow some more and get some more of it out there and get some people exposed to that. And then I guess we'll just kind of go from there. It's always a wait and see game, no matter what you're talking about, you put out another scent and you're just sort of sitting there waiting to see what everybody's going to say, and you're not going to get everybody, but I guess we always try to make it something that most people could use or would enjoy.
I need to say to the farmer, I need more cow, I need more fat.
Yeah. That is the one drawback for us, and it's not that we don't enjoy it, but production is slowed. Not that I'm not trying to put out impressions here that we put out hundreds of soaps, but the background work to get the tallow up to the point where you can make a soap out of it. We're looking at 3 to 4 renderings and then some washing and stuff to get so we don't have an animal smell to the soap. So long story short, it's very labor intensive versus, the vegan, we can use a palm oil or something that's a pre-made product, and you put it in and off you go. So it's, there's a big impact for us there. But again, I think it's worth it. It turned out to be what we think is a better product than what we were trying to experiment with commercially available stuff. So yeah, it's new to us and it's a lot of work, but I think I'm liking it.
It's work because I enjoy when I get a feedback.
Yeah. And it's nice to call it your own, I really sort of value that when we try to be original in a lot of things we do, which is hard when there's a lot of product, right? So it's almost like there isn't a scent that hasn't been done, or there isn't a, there's so much there. And it's nice to have at least part of it, you know, and say that, hey, that's our soap base. That's right from, you know, this chunk of fat to here. That's us, not a manufacturing plant or someone. So that part is nice. We like to do everything we can in-house. Let's just put it that way. I mean, some things, well, when it comes to the scent, this one coming up, Mary's alluding to, is a dupe that's coming up. We're going to try that out and see what the reaction is. You know, I mean, you see a lot of people doing it, and it seems, you know, something recognizable, I think, for people, which makes it nice. They have an idea, maybe whether they like it or not right off the bat, where, you know,
I can smell Chris all day with that one. It's the new one.
And I think John and I, like, you know, we're very much on the, well, I'll let him answer for himself, but when it comes to, like, you know, cologne dupes or clones or anything like that, they will sell well. But there will always be that group of people that are just, you know, like, why? It's like, it's almost easy. But sometimes, you know, if it sells, you know?
like for me, if I buy the newest model of something, my newest car, and 3 months later there's a newer, better one out, I'm not real happy usually about that. And like I missed it, you know? And I think to some degree, I don't want to create that. I want to have something come out and give people time to either decide whether they want it or not, but not have another new one up right away to say, you know, I mean, they just got this one in the mail and, oh, here's a new soap base with it's better and improved. That's a good thing to do. I think for us, though, we'll try to keep that at a little bit of a slower pace, I guess, is what I mean there. It's always room for improvement. I just don't think, for us anyway, at the speed we move with developing this stuff, it's really all that practical. I work full time. You know, it's not something you can do day in, day out.
I try to, when I made the recipe, I don't say that I will not share, but we made and try to improve, and every oil give different criteria, different properties for the shave soap. It's so different to make body soap than shaving soap. It's different totally, and every product is different. And some people say, no, this soap is really good, is close to that one. One recipe, when made the recipe, is 100%. You can divide in 100 all that what you want to put in the recipe. No one recipe will be same as another when you make your own, you know?
It doesn't seem like it's that, like you're saying, you're going at a slow pace, because I think it is almost too fast nowadays. Like you said, you just picked up the new one, and then you're seeing the advertisement for the one that's coming out in a few weeks. Like, wait a minute, I haven't even tried the one that just came in the mail. So I think there is a lot of that going on. And also sounds like that you guys are definitely taking in feedback, both from, so you're still doing the farmer's market currently, or?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we actually do 2 or 3 through the summer months. And I mean, well, we do them year round, but they're a much slower pace during the winter. Our winter markets have rolled back now to like 1 a month. And then we get real busy in the summer. That's our high time, you know, starting about May. Year's pretty warm in May, and we're moving to the outdoor markets in the end. Yeah, that's where we really put in a lot of time, you know, and I guess, you know, we have quite a few wholesalers in the area now too, right? So that's their busy time. And then, you know, the whole thing just kind of wraps up when we're busy like May to, well, the new year, really, nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it was nice sometimes to have a little bit of quiet time, to be honest. It was like, you get into the new year, you could breathe a bit, you know. It's, when it's busy, it's busy. And this is all we were doing, that would be fine. But there's other irons in the fire, as they say. And so it gets pretty hectic, but the goal for the main goal starting the whole thing was to give Mary a job and something she would do and enjoy, and rather than just working 40 hours a week somewhere trying to grow a little every year, I guess, you know. So it's worked out well in that sense. I mean,
yeah, I like the skincare too. I made for the guy the Aftershave balm. then it's really good, and I try to make with all ingredients and they are benefit for the skin. And some people say that they don't use balm, aftershave balm. Some people say that they use splashes. Both they are good, but it depends what you like. But I can say, for example, splashes they dry more quickly, and balm stay in your skin. Your skin absorb all the benefits that is in the product.
Yeah, I don't know. The bombs don't seem to be as popular. I've always liked them because they're just better moisturizing. But a lot of people don't care for any kind of cream on their face or whatever. So it's.
I think it's I think we're kind of like in a unique like period where bombs are slowly getting more acceptance. I might as well just put it like right now. I was listening to like some friends of ours who released their own podcast, Jack and Heather from Zingari Man. Well, Jack's from Carve, and they have a podcast where they're talking about kind of like the background, like the behind the scenes things that you guys are talking about. But yeah, I think more and more often you're seeing more skincare, balms, even like serums and things like that for the face being popular. I'd say maybe within the past 6 months or so. I wouldn't, don't throw the idea out the window yet,
No.
No, I will make it always, because it's something that guy need too, to moisturize the skin and to try to look younger too. Is good, because I always take care, Christopher. I say to him, you need to use it, that will release more moist, you will have more moist. The thing is that the skin type for guys are different than for women.
Correct.
Women, if you can see, we age more early than guy. It's different type the skin for woman and for guy, and it is why women use more skincare products than guy. But in the end, you guys will need it and you will use it.
I don't recall seeing any. You don't have an unscented skin balm at the moment, do you?
That's coming at you right away here. We're actually going to.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, so no, that's fine. It's coming sooner than later. As a matter of fact, I'm just probably going down for labels and stuff here this week. So once we get that in hand, we'll chuck it out there. And I mean, it's obviously I use unscented soap a lot. It's a thing for me, and I've never been the guy that wanted a really heavily scented soap. I always thought to myself, anyways, was that's the Splash's job, or the EDT, or whatever you're going to use after, But we put out feelers on unscented product probably, I want to say that was 2 years ago, and we just got a resounding, are you kidding me? What would I ever buy that for? And so we just put that on the shelf, and I thought, well, fair enough, if that's there's no market for it, that's fine. But it just shows you, I guess, things do evolve and come around and change, and because you are seeing more talk, and there's more artisans that have that now than ever that I've seen, and I guess we may as well take part in it. I mean, ours, I enjoy it. I use it a lot just for a break. You get testing all these scents all the time, you start to become nose blind to that, and it's nice to get away from that and come back to it later. But
yes, and for example, you have your favorite perfume and you want to go out to the restaurant with your wife or with your friend, and you want to have on-scent balm, on-scent soap, and you can use the perfume and they don't interfere one to another. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be a good option, I think.
Yeah, so that one will be coming out, and then we've got the dupe coming out, which is that's Yes Men. It's a duplicate of that. That'll be in the tallow base as well, and they'll probably come out relatively close to each other, within the next month here, and get those on the go. And then later in the spring, I'm gonna keep playing with that Fougere scent of mine. It's not where I want it yet, but
Yes.
That'll be kind of coming down the
To
pipe
us,
there. But,
I think that for us to make the scent is the more hard part. Eh?
well, for me, it is 100%. You know,
I don't think anyone would be arguing with you about that. You know, it's just it's another art form within itself. You
It's
know,
another
absolutely,
art.
absolutely.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I find, to be honest, the expectation, I think in general, is fairly high that the artisan is doing, you know, the scent creating from the ground up too. And I'm not sure. I mean, I can't comment for other makers. But for me, I mean, that in itself would take probably half a lifetime of experience to be really good at. You know, it's man, there's a lot to that, and I've been studying some of it from a perfuming perspective, but it's well, I guess you're fitting that in when you can, right? I'm not devoting 8 hours a day to it, that's for sure, and it's not going to be something I'll pick up easily. I know that.
Now, is that a collaborative process between the two of you? Like both of you will have to agree before it goes out the door, or does someone have a little bit more voting power?
Well, I think, yeah, truthfully,
both.
it's both of us. I think in the end, you know, that's what it comes down to.
It's both of us, but I can say to you, you don't put this in life, but I can say to you that
Got it.
you know, I made a woman props and guy props, and when I need to study and try to get the newest product and the best product for the skincare and all that, and I ask my husband, and he's, Mary, we need to put that scent out. You need to work in the guy pros. You need to work, honey. Okay, but I want to make this too, and it's take time, you know, for me.
Yeah, and that may be one of the differences for us. You know, I don't know all the makers really well, but um, you know, we have a fairly, at least for us, is a fairly wide range of product, and shaving's just part of that, right? So it's like Mary said, we're busy with a lot of other stuff, and it's a balancing act for sure to see what. But I'd say this last year we've probably put most of our efforts into the shaving, just to kind of get up to speed, if you will. Like it was sort of, like I said, it was very shocking when we were. I was thinking, oh my God, look at the amount of product, and then as you're sort of finding out, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm not going to buy all these soaps and try them because I don't want to get some sort of preconceived idea as to what we should be doing, you know.
Yes.
And I think that's beneficial to me anyway, because I can get sidetracked easily, and it happens to me all the time, and there's times where I'll just have to put the social media down because you're being bombarded with that, you know, and I tend to sort of get my thoughts going in other directions and think, well, you know, maybe, hey, maybe we should be doing that, you know. But I think you got to sort of stay true to yourself and just say, okay, what am I setting out to do here, and which direction are we going? I mean, you're probably not going to go 180 degrees from what everybody's doing, but you certainly, I think, for me anyway, it's been this last year I've been starting to buy these soaps up, you know. And now I got a shelf full of them, and it's like, you know, so I'm going to try Holy Con, I'm going to try these guys, I'm going to try, you know, and then you kind of see in your own mind where you truly stand, and without feeling like you've copied someone, you know, if that makes any sense. So yeah, this last year I've done a lot more with the shaving and experienced a lot more stuff, a lot more hardware, a lot more software. So yeah, it's opened up a lot for me, and it's learning lots, you know. It's just really, that's what it is. It seems to me that, you know, you can look at it from two sides, and you can say, well, there's the product, the market's saturated. You know, you hear that comment a lot, and you can, pardon me, you can and take a look at that, and there's probably a lot of truth to that. There is a lot of product out there, but I think what needs to happen is the community needs to expand.
Exactly. That is what we need. It's not too many artisan. Artisan is all welcome. Come to make more. But the thing is, we need more wet shaving. Okay, come and enjoy more the community. It's better.
Yeah. That's just my opinion, you know. I think, but I'm like you, Gerard. I mean, I think it's got nowhere to do but grow. I hope that it doesn't take a turn for the worst. You know, I mean, there's obviously a breaking point, I guess, for everything, but I would like to think that that's going to continue to be an upward trend. That's for sure. I mean, you're
No
right.
doubt.
It's something I think you grow into. You can always have a vision, I think, and I mean, you need to, but I think if anybody would say that they started out with this vision and carried it right through to the end without changing or modifying anything would be amazing. I think, you you're growing as you're developing all this stuff, and so as you're growing, your vision starts to change a little bit, and at least for us. And I don't think there's this path, where you wake up one morning, you're going to start doing something, and that you just walk that path and you stay on it forever. It's just really not that simple. You're evolving, growing, changing. No different than kind of life itself. You're moving with it, right? I think if you're not, you're going to find out that you probably should have. So yeah, our vision was to basically provide a good. It was pretty simple, really, like a good product that you could use every day and not pay a fortune for and enjoy. And it was work good on your skin.
Yeah, I always try to make good quality products. For me, it's important because all we sell is what we use. We use, and if we need to make good products. I need to make it good because it's what I put in my skin, is what I use every day. And that is my is what I think more all the times. I need to make good products, and I try to put in the market when I am happy with the product. I can make change because is always something improved and always a new products or some, but I try to make good when they go out. To doesn't need to change every week or every month. Say, oh, it's a new recipe. Oh, it's another new. I change this. I try to doesn't make that too much.
You're gonna go
time.
You'll go crazy if you do that. Okay.
Yes, for sure.
I think you probably take some people along with you too. It's it's just too much. And I think we don't want to really sort of evolve our product on the market. We want to put out the best we can at the time, and then as time goes by, you'd want to improve on that, but not sort of as I don't even know how to say it without really. I don't really want to offend anybody. I mean, it's just that sometimes you see a lot of that development, the R&D going on while the product's on sale, and in many cases, not just shaving products, right? You'll see that with a lot of stuff, and it's. I don't know. For me as a customer, I'd be frustrated with that. So it's something I try to stay away from. But there's always change. Just I guess how you handle it and when you do it, right? I mean,
exactly.
We don't want to keep you too much longer, but Chris and Mary, it was a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better, to learn more about just kind of the inner workings of Highland Spring.
I appreciate it, guys. That's awesome. Good to speak with you.
Thank you very much. It's very good and very nice to talk with you guys.
Yeah, it's good.
It was a pleasure.
Just to put it out there, for people that haven't been, maybe just now they're basically getting to know where can they find you, where can they get your products?
Yes, they can find us in Highland Spring Soap Company, Canada. Yeah. They can find us in West Coast Shaving. We are so proud and we be there. We can get it in the Razor Company in United States too. It's a very nice company. They can find us in Stonefield in Canada.
Yeah, Stonefield Shaving. So we're hoping to expand a bit of that this year. I don't know how that's going to go. I really want to get into Pastor's Pharmacy just because, like it's almost like you're nobody or something to me anyway. Like it's just sort of the pinnacle, I think, for me. I'm not saying that stands true for everybody, but I think that I would just get a kick out of it more than anything.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was fantastic.
Right on. Oh, it's
Thank
good,
you
guys.
very much.
Appreciate you having us.
We have a good time.
Okay, guys.
Okay, bye.
See
Okay,
ya.
take care, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
one.
Thank you for listening to Lather Talk. You can find all the social media links for Gerard and myself in the show notes. If you enjoyed the episode, you can help the show by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a 5-star review. We hope you'll join us for next week's episode, where we'll be talking to Sri Ram, owner and artisan behind Holy Cow. See you then.